Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV for lineup predictions for tomorrow's game. I know it's a little bit late, normally do it on a Friday, but today is Saturday morning, bright and early. We're getting this out here right now for you guys. Tomorrow, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. kickoff, live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, live on Sky Sports. Up against fifth place Spurs. They are only 3 points off the top four, sitting in fifth at the moment. Where are they? Fifth. Oh, yeah. Are they fifth? Yeah, I just had a look at that. Yeah. They're just outside the top four, aren't they? Yeah, let's just double check that. Fifth, yeah, all right. Fifth, 3 points off the top four. Only 1 place ahead of Man United, who are in sixth. That's where I was getting confused. While we sit in 14th place, 9 points above the drop zone. Still comfortable, still okay. Did go on a 9-game unbeaten spell, have lost the last 2. So it has been a little bit stickier. The performances haven't been fantastic. The Chelsea game was good, but even a couple of the last couple that were won or got points out of, some of the performances weren't great, really, were they? But I don't know. Yeah, we've been on a little bit of a downward spiral, you could say. But who could have envisaged going 9 games unbeaten? I think we kind of over exuberated ourselves a little bit there. I think like expectations got a little bit, we'll run away with ourselves a little bit there, but we've had a nice little break, had a couple of weeks off. The lads have been over to Dubai for some warm weather training, so hopefully that's done them good. And I will just touch on that. I've seen a lot of negative comments after the last game, after the Everton defeat, saying that they don't deserve to go away. They've got to earn these things. Like, that's bollocks. It's not about earning it. Like when we went to Saudi in January, that's not because we won the Leeds game. The Leeds game was the last game before that. Like, we would have went anyway. It's tactical. I think it's good for the lads. Like a lot of like boxers and Olympians will go do like altitude training. They'll go live in like the mountains for a while. Like it's just a different type of training, and it's good. Like whenever I used to do that under Brucey used to just fuck off to Benidorm while the lads just went out and ate kebabs on a Saturday night. It's good for the lads. Eddie Howe's actually bringing the team together, and you've seen what happened after the Saudi trip. We went on that unbeaten run. The Leeds was just the start. The run that went on afterwards was superb, and you could see that the lads were gelled. They were like a team. They were united for once. For the first time in years, we actually had a united squad. I think it was the Everton game that was the first game afterwards at home where we won 3-1. And you see them actually literally like fighting for each other, like Joe Linton and Chris Wood getting stuck into Dele Alli. Like a former Newcastle team probably wouldn't have done that. Like they weren't really that arsed, but you could see what it meant. And a couple of the other lads, because that was in January, did miss out. Dan Byrne didn't sign at that point. And who else? Target wouldn't have been there. Unfortunately, Bruno would have missed out on the training because he was away on international duty, as would have Miggy as well. He missed out on Saudi Arabia. So Miggy's missed the last 2 foreign training camps, unfortunately. And Bruno missed out as well. But yeah, it's good for Dan Byrne and Matty Target to get in there and gel with the lads. It would have been training. Yeah, they probably would have gone and done some like team bonding things, which is good for them. They might have had a few nights out, dinners or whatever it is, but it was for business. They weren't there for a piss about. They weren't laying by the pool. They weren't sipping sangria. Like they weren't doing Steve Bruce things. They were there for business. They were there to train, and it's all good. So hopefully, it has done them good. And the likes of Dan Byrne and Matt Target have become better, a bit more gelled, a little bit more comfortable with their new teammates because they wouldn't really have had too much time together. They would have just been thrust into training and that's it. Play a game, go to training. No really time for personal business, but they would have been there. Eddie Howe, I know, would have had some things done to them, seen pictures of Kieran Trippier at the zoo and things like that. So I think that's good for them. So hopefully this has done them the world of good. But we have got a tough fixture. Spurs are never an easy customer. Like I say, they are sitting 5th in the league, while we're down there in 14th. They've won 4 of their last 5 games and actually done us a favour in the bottom end as well, beating Leeds and Everton quite comfortably. 4-0 Leeds and 5-0 Everton. The only loss in the last 5 was away against Man United, 3-2 defeat where Cristiano Ronaldo bagged that hat-trick. They've also beat Brighton 2-0 and West Ham 3-1. So good run of form for them. No shame getting tonked by Cristiano Ronaldo's Man United at Old Trafford. So, yeah, not a bad run-in for them. Well, yeah, we have lost our last 2 games. And it is a bit of a difficult fixture for us, although we haven't been beaten at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Only 2 fixtures there since it's been opened. First one where Big J9, got his first goal for the club. Almost one of the last ones as well. But he did get on the score sheet. 1-0 win. A beautiful day. Probably one of my most favourite away days of memory. Absolutely class. Beautiful weather in the capital. Beautiful stadium. Incredible stadium. And seeing when you number 9 bag his first goal and 3 points. And a great performance. So yeah, that's one of my favourite away days, that one was. And last year, we got the 1-1 draw. The infamous 1-1 draw where Tottenham absolutely battered her. Carl Darlow was superb. One of the greatest goalkeeping performances the Premier League's ever seen. Just kept them out. I think they did go up 1-0 quite early. Was it Son? Can't remember who got the goal. But yeah, the defence and Carl Darlow were absolutely tremendous and got a controversial late VAR decision in like the 94th, maybe it's even later, maybe in the 97th minute or something crazy like that. And Callum Wilson got the last minute equaliser from the pen spot. So unbeaten at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It hasn't really been that bad. I was looking at previous fixtures, and that one win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is the only win that we've actually had against Tottenham since we've been promoted in 2017. But we've had some decent results, a few draws, being beat by fairly narrow margins for the most part. Last season, we drew 2-2 at home. So that was a 1-1 draw away and a 2-2 draw at home. So didn't lose to them at all last season. And we did get beat off them earlier this season, but it was a bit of a close one. That was Steve Bruce's final game before he finally got the chop. Was it just to keep his 300 mark? Was it his 300th managerial appearance? Who cares? Pointless. But went 1-0 up in that game at St James's early on. Callum Wilson put 1-0 up 2 minutes in, but we did end up losing the game 3-2. So yeah, not too bad of a record against Tottenham in recent years. So yeah, I am hoping for a close game. I'd more than happily take a point against the team that's currently sitting 5th. Like they are a cracking team with Son and Kane. Like they're absolutely mint. So we'll have a look into their injury news, and they could be with Oliver Skipp and Ryan Sessegnon. They were previously doubtful, but they are closing in on a return. Skip's been out with a groin injury since January, and Ryan Sessegnon went off with a hamstring injury against Everton last month and has been out since. But they are closing in on a return, so could come back for the Newcastle game, but it is doubtful at the moment. And Ben Davies is the other doubtful one, but he is expected to be okay. He missed out on Wales's game on Tuesday against the Czech Republic, but Antonio Conte says he is okay. He's had a little problem, but he is available. So yeah, Ben Davies is back in the squad. And for Newcastle's team news there then, a few ifs and buts really here. We're not really entirely sure. Eddie Howe didn't really clamp down, or the words that he used didn't really fill me with confidence that all of these players are going to be available. But what he did say was Fabian Schär should be fine. He didn't train while away, but since coming back, he has had a couple of sessions and he should be fit. So hopefully we will see Fabian Schär. And same with Martin Dubravka. He trained for the first time on Thursday, so he's only had a couple of days training, Dubravka, but again, hopes he'll be fine. It's all shoulds and hopes, and the same with John Joe Shelvey. John Joe has trained. He hasn't done every session as he was out with a bad illness, but again, hope he'll be okay. Now, these words aren't really filling me full of confidence. Like, even if they are okay, how okay are they when it is just hopes at this stage? Like, I'm not too sure. But he also spoke about St Maximin, and he doesn't have him back. Says we're excited to see him back. He has been back training, and he has done well. He has been in and out of the team over the last few weeks with injuries and illnesses, bit of this, bit of that. And he says it's tough to bring them back. Like, he has come on in for like sub appearances. He hasn't started, be on the bench, late appearances, just trying to get him back in. He says it has been difficult, but he is back now. He's been back training, done very well, and excited to see him back. And for the long-term absentees in Kieran Trippier and Callum Wilson, there is a little bit of news there. We're not too sure on the outcome of Kieran Trippier's scan yesterday, but Eddie Howe did say that in his press conference yesterday. He says he's going for a scan today. And if it's all good, then we can start to push him back quite quickly. So hopefully we'll have Kieran Trippier back in the next couple of weeks, few weeks maybe at most. And Wilson, I think there's been a little bit of a setback. I think we're expecting him to be on the same kind of timeline as Trippier, but he's not as far along as what we were hoping Trippier was. So yeah, hopefully Trippier can be back in the next maybe 3 weeks. But Wilson's still looking to be back by the last 2-3 games of the season, so still going to be without him for a bit of an extended period of time, unfortunately. So into my lineup prediction there then, and I've gone a little bit different this week. I have. I've given two lineups, as I'm not really too sure what we're going to do. Obviously, we haven't had a game in a couple of weeks, and even before then, we did have some injuries. We did have some COVID issues. Oh, which actually I forgot to mention. There is COVID issues in the camp from Dubai. It was Dubai, yeah, it was Saudi in January. Yeah, but no confirmation. He'd done this a few weeks ago, Eddie Howe, as well. I think that might have been just after Saudi as well, wasn't it? There was some injury, confirmed COVID cases in the camp, but kept his cards close to his chest on who they were. Will they be in? Will they be out? Yeah, no real confirmation, but is confirmation that there is COVID in the camp. But whether that affects the first team or not, we don't know yet. So yeah, I've done my prediction here. I've done two teams. One maybe is a little bit more hopeful. One maybe is a little bit more what we could do, what we could see, depending on fitness and injuries and things like that. So just going to go straight into it. Not going to go through it one by one. My preferred formation would be this. And that is obviously the 4-3-3, which we have been playing and what we were playing when we went 9 games unbeaten and done very, very well with it. That is dependent on Fabian Schär's fitness and Jamal Lascelles as well. Eddie Howe spoke about Jamal Lascelles. In fact, no, it was Jamal Lascelles spoke to the media about his relationship with Eddie Howe when opening up the new development camp. And says his relationship's great and he doesn't mind sitting on the bench as long as it's for the benefit of the team. As long as the team are doing well, blah, 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 then he's happy to play the role as the captain, as the leader of the team. He'll do whatever role that he can. So yeah, I definitely prefer the back four, although it is against Tottenham, so it might be a bit trickier. And I think the weak link that everyone will be pointing out there is Emil Kraft, but please have a day off. He's been doing all right, man. He's played more games than I think Trippier and Manquillo in that 9-game unbeaten run and done well with it. And if you've seen the clip from his little trick for Sweden the other week, then you'll realise that he actually is the Spanish Cafu, and we're not just Swedish Cafu, and we're not just taking the piss. But yeah, he might be a bit exposed if Son's on that side or whatever. Then yeah, might run into trouble. But Manquillo's the only other option to put it right back there. In the midfield is keeping John Joe Shelvey out and Sean Longstaff as well. But I think Sean Longstaff is just there kind of for more rotation. Willock's kind of established himself as a starting 11 player as long as there's a spot there. While Bruno wasn't getting the game when he first came in. Yeah, Willock was the one getting starts. Sean Longstaff was on the bench. But that's kind of how I would do it if we are going to play this formation. Obviously, with the ifs and buts about Shelvey saying that we hope he'll be okay. He has had a bad illness. That spells to me that he's only really going to be fit enough for a place on the bench. I wouldn't really like to see him in the starting 11 getting thrown straight into it if he's not fully 100%. So Willock alongside Bruno, who got his first goal for Brazil during the week, alongside his Brazilian partner there, Joe Linton. And it's the wide players who I'm most excited to see. Fraser's had a few games out. Maxi, as mentioned, has been in and out with the team, but hasn't really started a lot in the last few weeks. And them two were huge for us in our unbeaten run. So having Fraser and Saint-Maximin back on the wings would be absolutely superb with Chris Wood up front, New Zealand's record goal scorer. But yeah, that definitely would be my team for the front part. The back is maybe where it's a bit iffy. Kraft being the main one. Do we keep Schär in with him? Only expected to be okay. And do we go 5 at the back, which is me second lineup, which we did do against Chelsea, and I think is wise going up against a tough team, like a top 4 team. It's going to be hard. So that's why I've drew up this one, which is similar to what we've done against Chelsea. But we only really changed the formation against Chelsea because of late COVID. I think it was it Saint-Maximin, Joe Linton, and Joe Willock were last minute dropouts, or was it Fraser as well? Like I think all these players were last minute dropouts. So Eddie Howe did have to change the team like very last minute. So if they were all available, I wonder if we still would have played this formation or not. I know he was forced into it. But it is interesting, I think, against the good teams, like especially when we've got the likes of Son and Harry Kane. I think defending a bit more is wise. I don't really like to say it. I definitely prefer to see attacking style of football instead of defensive. But when needs must, when against these tough teams, sometimes we can't compete. So playing them against their own game probably is good tactics. So that does bring Manquillo in, as he did against Chelsea. I think he is the better as a wing back. He probably is the better fullback as well. But I just think Kraft's been great at fullback over the last few weeks. So that's why I kept Kraft in with a back four. But if we are going to go kind of like a back five, back three, then Manquillo would be my choice in this formation. And it was tough to pick a central midfield partnership. But yeah, I think this is the best one. And it's not just because I'm picking the Brazilians and they are good friends off the field. But yeah, I just think Bruno and Joe Linton probably just offer quite a bit more than maybe what Joe Willock would be playing against one of them. And it was Sean Longstaff partnered Bruno in the Chelsea game and had a great game as well. So whoever the midfield duo is, I'm not particularly bothered, but I just think this is probably the best one. And at least there's no language barrier there. Like they obviously know each other well. So I think the cohesion could work quite well with them too. And obviously it brings Lascelles into the back five, to play as the captain, as he did against Chelsea, and had a pretty good game as well to go alongside the potentially fit, maybe not Fabian Schär, and Dan Burn, player of the month. Obviously, he keeps his place because he's been great, although people have been pointing the finger at him for the last two defeats. He was the one that kind of got dusted a bit, wasn't he? Kind of like left the defense a little bit exposed for both last-minute goals that led to defeats against Chelsea and Everton. So a bit of criticism come towards Dan Burn for the last two defeats, but when we were winning, it was full of praise, and it was when we were winning that he's won the player of the month. So yeah, Dan Burn stays there as far as I'm concerned. So they're my two teams there, then guys. Let me know what you think. Which one would you prefer? You're going to put the first one back on as well. As long as the front three are fit, I don't really think that's up for any debate. Murphy's done well. Almiron's done okay. But as long as Fraser and Maxi are fit, then yeah, that's certainly not up for debate in my opinion. So let me know what you think. What formation would you play? Would you play a back 4 or 5? Who would you be playing in midfield? Would you be tempted to put Shelvey in? Or would you bring Sean Longstaff back? And would you risk Schär, Dubravka and Shelvey with them only maybe being fit? Maybe he's not 100%. So let me know what you think. Leave your lineup predictions and score predictions in the comments below. I'm going to go with a 1-1. Maybe he's a little bit generous. Maybe he's a little bit more hopeful. But if we can come out of the Dubai training camp like we did from the Saudi Arabia training camp, hopefully the team will be united once more. Put them defeats on the back burner. We've had time to process it, and I trust in Eddie Howe. I think you will. You'll have taken that seriously. You'll have taken it to heart. Like he doesn't like to lose, Eddie Howe. Like he's a proper grafter. So I believe that in the couple of weeks that we've had off, he'll have been trying to right some wrongs. That's what we would have been doing on the training field in Dubai and back in Newcastle when we've came back from it. Just making sure that it doesn't happen again. Any flaws from them games, like Dan Burn, like maybe works with Dan Burn on the back line a little bit more to make sure that the mistakes don't happen, costly mistakes that were costly. I think we could have gotten points out of each of them games, Chelsea and Everton. Could have even won them on another day, but we did lose. So hopefully that's what Eddie Howe's been trying to do and making sure that we do get them results. So yeah, tough team. So I'd be more than happy with a point away to Tottenham. So that's my prediction, 1-1. Let me know what you guys think. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV, and enjoy yourself.